Hello, welcome back, y'all. Happy eclipse, happy full moon, lunar eclipse. There's a lot going on. All right, I know I've been gone for a few days. I just again been trying to just make sure I'm catching up with all the things I need to catch up with and all that stuff. All that kind of stuff. Either way, we have a lot to talk about today. I was looking at the transits. We're gonna get into the astrology portion, by the way. If you don't want to see that, I have it time stamped in the comments. And yeah, so you can go straight to the tarot portion, but we have a lot to talk about today. Again, right next to me, we're going to have the charts and the transits. And I mean, most notably for sure, it's an eclipse. It's also a full moon, it's what I noticed. We do have a lot. It's a lot going on today, man. If you want to take a look down at, I don't even know where to start because there's so much going on. So let's just go over some very basic stuff with the chart, right? We have the sun in Taurus, we have the moon in Scorpio. Those are on the axis of each other. That essentially means they are on the opposite, they're polarities of each other. Taurus and Scorpio are on the axis. If you look at the transits, we have the sun opposing the moon. And so that's a whole thing within itself, right? Taurus and Scorpio, the energies pushing and pulling between each other. It's kind of like going back and forth between one and the other, trying to figure out how to move about that. I also noticed, we're still looking at the chart, we have Pluto has gone retrograde. It is now in Aquarius. I did not actually look up how long it's going to be retrograde for, but I want to look at the transits, right? So, I mean, quite obviously, like we just talked about, we had the sun opposing the moon. Obviously a very intense energy given it's a full moon and we're having the eclipse, which I would imagine the opposition is essentially the eclipse. But I'm being drawn to Lilith. So if you want to look at the bottom of the transits, we have Lilith squaring the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Uranus. But it's also trining Chiron, and then we have Chiron quincunx the moon. So, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, this is essentially quintessential shadow work energy. This is looking at the deepest, darkest parts of your psyche, of your ego, of your soul, every aspect of your being, and how that plays out in your reality. This eclipse is really pushing us into that space, right? I was putting on the short video in the caption. It's this energy coming through where it's like an overhaul. It's like there's this entire, it's like your operating system is being upgraded. Like you're going from like Windows 10 to Windows 11 or something, right? And so a lot of the old code and things that may have worked on your previous operating system aren't going to work for you in this one. And so this is this new phase. We are ending the eclipse season. We do still have a little bit of slowing energy with the whole Mercury retrograde thing, but I feel like this is a really good time to just come to terms with your, if you're feeling that like there's a disconnect, because I've been experiencing this as well. There's like a disconnect between, how do I even put this? It's almost, I guess, like your higher self and your shadow self. It's almost like there's a push and pull between those two energies, especially because we had that squaring going on with Lilith squaring the sun, moon, Mercury, and Uranus. Uranus being the planet of creativity, if I recall correctly, and Mercury being the planet of communication, the moon being the emotions, the sun being our own personalities and the world around us and how we show up in the world. And the fact that that's all being squared by Lilith being our dark feminine energy, if you want to look at it like that, there's this intense pressure between choosing one thing over the other. This huge need to, it's almost like this need to make some kind of decision is what it feels like. And we've been tapping into this within a few readings as well. There's this decision making kind of energy here, especially with the fact that we do have the opposition between the sun and the moon, and it's this disconnect between what you're feeling and what you're seeing. And this is again something we have talked about quite a bit too, and this is something that just keeps coming up in the astrology portion. But the fact that we have Chiron quincunx the moon, that's where I feel like the disconnect is, right? Quincunx is also known as inconjunct. It's essentially when I think a sign is like, or it's like a placement is like 10 signs away from another one. I don't recall exactly. There's it's like 150 degrees separated. And so there's this massive disconnect between your own shadow and your wounded self and your emotions. And I feel like that's what's being triggered with this eclipse and with just a lot of experiences in general, And because we have Lilith in all these squares, that's in your communication sector, that's in your creativity sector, that's in your emotions, that's in your relationships around you. I want to see if we have anything going on with Venus, and we do. We have Venus sextile Jupiter, squaring Neptune and quincunx Pluto. So is that the only quincunx we had with Pluto? Okay. Yeah, again, disconnect. I feel like there's something manifesting here. You may not fully see it, but you feel it. And that's kind of what I'm also seeing, is like you feel it, you don't fully experience it in the way you feel like you should quite yet. But that's because things kind of need to formulate, they need to percolate, they need to develop. It's this big energy of letting things move in the way that they're moving, instead of trying to kind of force them into a box or do this or that and the third. Letting things be where they are and essentially moving in a direction that you feel called to move in. But in order to find that direction, that's going to take you getting in touch with your own emotions. And this is what I feel like this eclipse is pushing us to do, especially with that opposition that are being drawn to. It's really giving yourself the opportunity to let yourself experience and feel what you're feeling. You don't always have to explain it. You just gotta kind of have to let it be what it is, and just move through the energy one step at a time. Like, do things that make you feel comfortable. Do something that makes you feel happy. Like, just take care of yourself, right? This is the time to do that, especially with this. I feel like there's a need to nurture your wounded feminine energy. And so really look at all the ways in which your feminine energy feels taken advantage of, or wounded, or needs attention. If you're feeling difficulties in creativity, you're feeling creative blocks, that's when you should take a look at your feminine energy and focus a little bit more on nurturing yourself in ways that you may nurture other people. And so it's also recognizing that, like, other people are going to be in this energy too. So you may notice that there's people who are going through some very difficult emotional times, whether that's because of relationships or just internal shifts and healing. That's what you're going to be seeing, especially because this eclipse energy is going to be carrying out here for a while. It is the end of eclipse season, but we are having Pluto in retrograde, and Pluto being the planet, again, of very unseen energy. That's the energy of, like, to me, it's like the collective shadow. And so I feel like there's going to be a lot of things coming to light as this retrograde is going on in Aquarius. Like, we just came out of Pluto in Aquarius, and so this may be very well a revisitation of things that you were experiencing before Pluto moved into Pisces. And this was like maybe about a month or so ago. And again, it's gonna be in Aquarius until I think about like July, and then it goes back into Pisces, and then it stays there for like 20 years or something like that. So yeah, it's a lot going on. I'm feeling called to go into the tarot portion, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it there. Yeah, man. Again, that's timestamped in the comments. If you want to book a personal reading or listen to my extended videos, or excuse me, watch the extended videos or listen to my music, everything is in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. The only way to book a reading is to DM me on Instagram or send me an email. Let's go ahead and hop in. We're going to start out with the, what is it called? Ethereal Visions Luna Edition Tarot. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of the deck. So let's see what comes out, man. Let's see what comes out. So I was shuffling and a little stack already came out. So let's start out with what we have. So bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. We have the Fool. We have, what is this? The Knight of Pentacles. No, yeah, Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Four of Wands. So I feel like, I mean, there's some kind of relationship here. I mean, with the Four of Wands, Two of Cups, it's pretty obvious to me that there's some kind of connection here. There is a lot of very deep emotional energy going on right now in terms of just this eclipse being a full moon in Scorpio. It's a lot of energy, man. And we are in Taurus season, and I feel like Taurus season is really, it's a really good time to really focus on that comfort. It's kind of what I'm seeing here too. It's nurturing relationships that you feel like bring you some sort of comfort. But I feel like this is like, you're gonna get the opportunity, if you haven't already, to take a risk on something. If somebody, this could be somebody deciding to take a risk on you, give this relationship a chance. This could be you deciding to take a risk. This could be both people deciding to take a risk. This could also be you like moving. It's kind of what I'm seeing, right? With the Fool, Four of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles. This could be you in the space of essentially in the process of moving. It's like conceptualizing it, understanding that yes, you do need to make plans and put those plans into action, but I feel like this move isn't just going to impact you, it's going to impact other people around you, which is why I feel like we have the Two of Cups, right? And I feel like this could be related to your creative endeavors, Queen of Wands. It could be related to career in general, but I feel like there's like a particular relationship that's coming through that's going to influence your decision moving forward. And I feel like that has a lot to do with what you're going to be doing for the next few years. If you're in a serious relationship with somebody, this is making those plans for the future and discussing what that's going to look like for both of you in the long term. All right, let's go ahead and get some clarity on this. What is this whole... I just want to know what this is. What's this whole relationship we are seeing here? Like just Two of Cups and the Fool, the Four of Wands. I mean, it's clearly a strong type of relationship. It's a mutually passionate relationship. It's a really nice energy. It's exciting is kind of what it feels like to me. And we have the Well. All right, Six of Swords, bottom of the deck. Page of Cups. And then we have the Well. So the Well is one of the cards that the artist specifically added to this deck. This is their own this is their own major arcana, right? I feel like you may not even know this. I feel like there's somebody around you that has some very strong feelings for you, but you just don't know this yet. Maybe they haven't shown you, right? And I feel like that's because it's like this person may be going through this period in their life where they're trying to find balance after a difficult time. And I feel like if you're not seeing, like if you already have like some clues and you kind of know that there's something there, but you're not really fully seeing it, like we were tapping into with all that squaring energy, right? And a lot of those, especially with Pluto being in retrograde, there's a little bit of murkiness, but I feel like it's there, it's solid with the Knight of Pentacles. There's some sort of plan to essentially like take a risk on this. This is really just what keeps coming to me. Wanting to take a risk on some sort of... This doesn't always have to be romantic, man. This could be friend-related. But it really just feels like there's a lot of deep emotions here. And it feels like it's fairly new. There's nothing that's indicating this is something that has a lot of history. We were tapping into some sort of new situation. Right? It does feel like something new. But what I'm being drawn to is we have the Queen of Wands here with the cat. You notice the cat just chilling, and we have the sunflower. And to me, the sunflower obviously, yes, represents the sun, and the cat to me represents mysteries and the unseen, and also very similar to like the magician type of energy. Kind of what I'm feeling like here. There's something manifesting here that isn't fully fleshed out, and you don't really know or see exactly what is happening. But the fact of the matter is something is happening. I'd like to know like what is happening exactly. What is happening here with this connection that we were talking about? Wait, what is this? Bottom of the deck though, we did have the Star. So I do feel like this is some sort of like wish fulfillment. Again, Five of Cups, bottom of the deck after some disappointments. This is very similar energy, just different cards, but it's like after some really terrible things that you or this person have been through, I feel like Spirit's bringing this in to revive your faith in love and life in general. So if you've been asking for that or looking for that, I feel like that's what's coming through for you, to be completely honest. I like to know, though, like, what's up with this Page of Cups and the Well? What is this person doing here? What's going on here with this situation? Okay, bottom of the deck we had the Chariot. We have the Eight of Cups. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this is somebody walking away from something to go towards something else. to be completely honest, and I don't necessarily know. This could be you going towards somebody new. This could be somebody new coming towards you after getting out of something difficult. This could be you also just going off on your own to focus on your own independence. But I'm also seeing here too, it's like because you're like in this independent energy, I feel like this person is seeing this here, and they kind of are just realizing that it's like, you know, look, I'm going to be honest, man. I have been reflecting on this card in this deck. And I know Eight of Cups is often known as the walking away card, but in this card, the way I'm interpreting this is it's reflecting on the path ahead. Or, depending on how you want to look at this, this is somebody that looks like they're about to make a journey. And I feel like it's a very risky journey. It's something where I feel like this person is, they may not feel like they're fully prepared. This is somebody who may have already gone through a major journey in general. I feel like this is somebody who's gone through a lot as a whole. And it's like this person here is, again, trying to find balance with the devil bottom of the deck, you know, after a very difficult period. After something just, I feel like something really karmic has been playing out. And again, all relationships are karmic to some degree. But to me, it just feels like this is something that is coming to a close. This person's finding balance, and this is what is allowing this person to open up to new possibilities in general, right? Let's go ahead and get a closing message here. We'll close it out with Hieronymus Bosch. Let's just get some advice on this situation. Like, if this is something that looks like it's coming into your life, it could have the potential to move very fast, right? I feel like this is it's a very obsessive type of energy, but it doesn't feel like bad. I mean, bad is really subjective, but I feel like this is something that has been either on both of your minds probably for a while now. I feel like this is something that you've both been reflecting on, thinking about what that would look like if you decided to take that risk, trying to gain an understanding. All right, we do have Death at the bottom of the deck. This card did come out in the short video, and so yeah, I feel like after some craziness coming to an end, something new is coming about, right? But it's going to take, again, that self-reflecting and walking away from the past and finding balance from that past situation. But also, it's like giving you the opportunity to find balance through each other. That's what it feels like. So we have Illumination. We have the Princess of Berries, and we have the Prince of Swords. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, I mean, this is pretty great. It's like Illumination says revelation, knowledge, light, and darkness. Princess of Berries says courtship, love, romance, and relationship. And Prince of Swords says victory against overwhelming odds, braveness, and experience. So I feel like this is new. This is a brand new relationship coming out. I don't necessarily think either of you looked at it this way at first. I feel like this didn't start as something you were looking for. Maybe you were just kind of doing your own things and you just came across this relationship, and now you're both having realizations about the connection, and that's what's allowing this to turn into something more than what it started as, right? Let's get one final advice here, how to manage this energy. I feel like I'm picking up on something where it's like, you know, be brave. Don't be afraid to take a risk here. I feel like this is something really solid. I mean, we do have Queen of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck, right? And we have the Magician at the bottom of the deck as well, okay? And we also have the Six of Wands, and so I feel like this is going to be a very victorious time for you, man. Again, I feel like this eclipse is propelling us into new spaces after some difficult periods, man. And I feel like Spirit's really just asking you, man, it's just like looking back at everything that you've manifested in the past and understanding that like you've grown so much, and by you growing so much, you're naturally going to attract and manifest things that are in resonance with who you are now. And so I feel like Spirit's trying to get you to look at the fact that it's like you can trust these new opportunities, you can trust these new relationships. Still, you know, be cautious and don't just go making foolhardy decisions. Make sure you're really, you know, looking at everything before you do make big decisions. But I feel like this is something that can be very successful, and as something that you have been looking for a while. One final advice here, please, Spirit. Okay, Death just came out again because I was shuffling. Yeah, don't be afraid. I guess if death is coming out again, don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid to let things come to an end. Don't be afraid to. It's like don't be afraid to completely reshape the way you're looking at things. I feel like there's a need to look at things differently as well. Something that it's like you may not have seen this person this way at first, but I feel like now Spirit is getting you both to look at each other in a different way that you may not have even considered before, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it works. Usually you come across these things when you're not looking for them. It happens in every area of your life. When you stop looking so hard and trying so hard to find something is usually when it comes in, right? So bottom of the deck, Prince of Books says dominance, overcoming challenges, and patience. And then we have Page of Skates. And we have King of Swords. Page of Skates says disappointment, failed attempt, and struggle. King of Swords says powerful person, a teacher, and harsh lessons. Yeah. So as an advice, I feel like Spirit is really asking you to not let failed attempts in the past stop you from really taking these chances. You know, it's something where it's like you've overcome so many challenges, and it's just understanding that like you've grown and you're a different person than who you used to be. And I feel like all of these really difficult lessons have taught you how to move in a way that's not going to be a reflection of how things used to be. If that's not the case, I feel like with the Death card coming out again, Spirit is asking you to remember those lessons and to not make those same mistakes, to not be afraid to face the challenges. I feel like, yeah, like this may be a beautiful thing, but there will always be challenges in these new areas of our lives, and it's going to take patience and it's going to take time for you to really move forward in a way that you feel is beneficial for you and everybody involved, right? I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I do not think I'm going to take this over to an extended today. So if you do want to see extendeds in general on Patreon, I have all of my extendeds up on there in general, right? I literally got like a bunch of different videos if you want to go see those. If you want to book a personal reading or listen to my music, all of that is in the description. I'll never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. That said, I love you. I appreciate all of you, and I'm very grateful for you, and I will see you in the next reading.